Okay, so this is the third Horror Mayhem vlog. This is the beginning of it. So new chapter, if you like. And you may have seen on my channel, I don't know if you saw it, but I put up a video, a really quick video, very short video, excited about a new purchase. And it was this book here, Shock by Richard Matheson. And I've wanted this for many years, but it's so expensive and it's so unusual that I had to bite the bullet, and this was over 20 quid for a little paperback, but you can get it for a lot more than that, so that was cheap for this. So I'm really chuffed I've got it. This is a collection of Richard Matheson short stories from 1961, and I read a great short story called Dance of the Dead, Horror Mayhem, Dance of the Dead, that was originally published in 1955, so it would have come out in one of the magazines first, but it came out in 1955, and then in this collection, Shock, or Shock 1, I like to call it, which is 13 tales of thrill and terror. No, 13 tales to thrill and terrify. Yeah, it came out in 1961. It was really good. So it was a kind of, there was fantastic energy to it. And it was these four people in a car going to this event that they were sort of showing one of them that was like, if like a virgin to their kind of social activity. She was a bit younger than the others, and they were kind of, they wanted to take her to show her the Dance of the Dead, basically. And this was like set after World War III, and it's set in 1987, which is interesting, after World War III. And the characterization in it, the energy in it, the rhythm in the writing was amazing, and it was just really cool. And it's the sort of thing you want to write stories like that, like with that kind of style. Stylistically, it was so brilliant. So yeah, I loved it. Fantastic start to the third part. Dance of the Dead, Richard Matheson. So vlogs are all about different locations. I'm now in the Indian takeaway and waiting for a Dan sack. Do you like Dan sacks? I love Dan sacks. And anyway, I thought it'd be nice to share the fact that now, thanks to Troy Tredup's lovely generosity, I'm going to be reading this, The Forsaken Boy. I'm so pleased to have this. So Troy Tredup has got a fantastic channel, so I'll link it below, but have a look at his channel if you don't know it. And this is a werewolf story, and I can't wait to read it, and I'm so pleased I've got it. He's also given me his other book as well, so I'm really excited about that. So Protect Me from the Things I Think I Want. Plays and short stories. Absolutely amazing. So thanks, Troy, so much. And I'll have a read of that after I've had my curry. Hi guys, so a couple of things. This is the next bit of the vlog, and I just had a lovely present from a friend of mine. I've just tried it on and it fits, which is great. And this is an awesome Walking Dead t-shirt. How cool is this? How cool is that? With Elijah at the bottom there. So that was a really nice present. So I'm wearing this at a gig today. I was hoping that I would be able to film a bit of the vlog in this really lovely setting that we're doing the gig at today, but it's raining, so even if the gig goes well, I won't be able to video anything at that site, which is a shame. I'm still reading this, and it's ramped up a lot actually at the end. So it started to, I mean, it's not a very long book. Well, I say long, it's not really long. It's about 380 pages, 390 pages, and nearly 400 pages. So, you know, fairly standard length. And the premise kind of gets developed and kind of carries on, gets a little bit repetitive and kind of a little bit slow towards the middle, but then it ramps up a lot. And I'm fully immersed in this now, and it's very thrilling. It's quite nasty, it's quite grim. And the main character, Dudley, is horrible. So yeah, it's interesting. And Ramsey Campbell's a very good writer. He can write really well. So definitely, the way it's written is definitely gripping me. But yeah, I was a little bit worried when the pace and the tone of it slowed down a little bit. But it's really ramped up now. And I think it's because he's basically developed the middle bit of the book. It was like developing Patricia, who's like the main female character, like the second main character in the book. and that was quite important for how the book, what feels like it's the final sort of third act. So that's quite important for that. So yeah, interesting book. And I've also read, like, this is part of my Ray Bradbury deep dive anyway, but I wanted to do this in this month because it's The Foghorn, which is the basis or the inspiration for the film Beast from 30,000 Fathoms. And it's about a lighthouse which sends off this foghorn, and it attracts this creature, and it's really, really good. It's not a very long story, but it's fantastic. It's quite romantic and cozy in its creepiness, but you know, Ray Bradbury writes so beautifully, and the two male characters that are in it are written really well. But yeah, it's the vivid way the creatures portrayed is brilliant, and the ending is really lovely. It's a beautiful story, but it's about something terrifying. So yeah, the Foghorn is awesome. So definitely seek that one out if you can. And yeah, the basis for The Beast from 30,000 Fathoms, which in the film actually, the film it's interesting because the beast is drawn out from an atomic bomb, whereas in this it's the foghorn that's drawing the creature out, this sort of dinosaur type creature from the bottom of the sea. So that's an interesting sort of observation about how this sort of cryptid is developed into a sort of creature feature thing, and with a similar motive as Godzilla, which is, you know, Godzilla is probably the most famous cryptid now. I think years ago, for sort of folklore legend, it would have been like the Sasquatch or Bigfoot or something. But yeah, interesting that the atomic bomb is the cause in the film. But in this, it's just a really, really beautifully romantic, poetic impression of the power of the foghorn. Nice. Yeah, so I didn't film earlier because I thought it'd be raining. It's not raining, so I can actually show you the lovely place that we're playing today. So this is like a lovely university campus grounds, Surrey University. We're on at 5 o'clock. We've got a 40-minute set, and it's really nice because backstage there's a really nice area where we've got our gear, and there's like loads of bottles of water for us as well. So said hello to lots of people that have come down to see us. It's really nice. It's nice to get a few hours early, so say hello to everyone. And said hello to the organiser. My drummer's just arrived. It's all good, can't wait. So yeah, just to show you, I'll just show you this lovely So I'm back home now. It was a really good gig. So there's going to be some footage that's going to be on the Bemis YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that out and you are curious, or you do like our stuff but you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, it's just Bemis UK. So Bemis UK. So anyway, back home, and I realised I hadn't talked about this. So the Books of Blood, Clive Barker. I read one of them because it was in another collection, but I actually read The Midnight Meat Train as well, which is really gory. It was really good. I am liking the way that Clive Barker writes. So I read a few of his things now. I read a novel and some of his short stories now. And he's very good. But yeah, it's a grisly, grim story, The Midnight Meat Train. But yeah, it's got a great pace. It's really compelling. And it's got a unique kind of flavour. So I'm gonna try and finish this Books of Blood during this month if I can, or certainly almost finish it at least, because I'm getting somewhere with that, which is nice. But I'm also obviously at the tail end of this. So I said in the last section that this is getting very interesting, and yeah, it's going to end up being a really good book actually. So there's that. But I did do... also, this is one I was trying to find for the film prompts. So Rosemary's Baby, I want to read Rosemary's Baby, so I am going to try and slip this one in this month as well. And this can come under the classic banner as well, the classic prompt, which is the third week, which is what we're in. Because this is an old book. So this is from 1967. From 1967, so to me that's classic. So Rosemary's Baby is definitely on the menu, but I thought I'd also show you that I bought a few horror books as well, so I think that's kind of fits the remit of what we're doing here. So I've bought my first Peter Straub book. So he's obviously famous for The Talisman that he wrote with Stephen King, and I've got a different, I think it's called Black House. I think I've got that book that he wrote with Stephen King, but I've never read a book by Peter Straub on his own, and this is a collection of short stories. So I'm looking forward to this. So I'm going to read this one. And also I've bought three John Farris books. So The Uninvited, vintage horror there. Son of the Endless Night. So I'm pretty sure Ollie from Criminoli reviewed this recently, I think. But anyway, it's a bit more of a chunker. But the way these books were printed, it's not like really small font. So even though it's got how many? Yeah, 550 pages. I don't think it's going to feel like that. It's not fantastic condition, to be fair. But these vintage horror paperbacks from hell, they do cost a lot of money. So it's quite nice to find this for basically £1. So Son of the Endless Night I bought. And then I also bought The Minotaur. So The Minotaur by John Farris. I've got Steve Harris's Adventureland to read at some point as well. I've got The Djinn by Graham Masterton. I've got all sorts of things like that I can read. But I just thought I'd just show you a few more editions I bought to my horror collection. And to give you a little update on the Books of Blood. And in fact, I'm finishing the Secret Story by Ramsey Campbell as well. So that's where we are at this present time. Thanks for watching this. That was another section of the third horror vlog. Okay, so this is the last bit of the third vlog for Horror Mayhem. So Horror Mayhem I'm doing as vlogs. So they're just like little bits of my reading, which is how I'm approaching the reading as well, which is nice. But I have read a full novel. So I finished this, and Ramsey Campbell is a very big name in horror, and it's well written, but didn't like the ending. It meanders a little bit in like the second fifth of the book. So I don't think it's a great book, but it was good. And the big bit of it that I think is the most powerful bit, which is the kidnapping. There's a kidnapping in it. No spoilers. But you're going to see the spoilers anyway, because I'll knock off the kidnapping bit on the bingo card. But the kidnapping bit is really powerful. It's really uncomfortable, and it's well written. It's very grisly and horrible. So that's cool. But the way that resolves is a little bit naff. So yeah, Secret Story. It's worth reading. and it's my first full novel by Ramsey Campbell. I've read stories by him, short stories, but I haven't read a full novel by him yet. I've got a bunch of others as well, because I've been doing some horror purchases as well. But yeah, it was okay. It was good. It was good. And then I read a story from this collection. So Ray Bradbury presents or introduces Tales of Dungeons and Dragons, which is edited by Peter Haining. And even though it's like Dungeons and Dragons, you think, well, what's that about? Surely that's all fantasy. But most of the book is horror-related things. So the part 1 is selected tales of horror, with some big names, obviously. You've got Bram Stoker, Edgar Allen Poe, William Faulkner, Robert Bloch, all sorts of people. And then there's a second section, which is Tales of the Supernatural. So there's a whole big sort of, and then it's only like the last bit, which is fantasy. So even though it's a bit of a misleading title, I would suggest. So Tales of Dungeons and Dragons, and I read the Edgar Allan Poe story. But it's interesting because he didn't finish the story, and it was picked up by Peter Haining, and he gave it to Robert Bloch to finish. And he says in the introduction, I bet you won't be able to spot where Poe finishes and Bloch starts. And to be fair, yeah, it's not a massively long story, but it feels like Edgar Allan Poe all the way through the story. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I defy them to point out where Poe finished and Robert Bloch began. That's how he ends this introduction. And it's kind of psychological horror. It fits the environmental horror, which was MJ's idea of bringing that into the bingo card, because it's really a lot about the water, which is true about the other story I read as well, the Foghorn as well, from Ray Bradbury, which I've already talked about. So you've got two, and that's set on a lighthouse as well. So it's called The Lighthouse. Sorry, Edgar Allan Poe story, The Lighthouse, in here. Finished by Robert Bloch. I liked it actually, which is cool because that first one I read at the beginning of the month I didn't like. And I've got a bit of I don't love Edgar Allan Poe, but I dip into him now and again. And yeah, I did actually like this one. So it's kind of psychological horror, but it was also, there was an actual creature that appears 2/3 through the story. So that was quite cool, and the ending is really good. So yeah, I like that story. So yeah, I've found my Rosemary's Baby, so I'm hopefully going to read Rosemary's Baby before we like for the next little lot. So you might see that in the 4th vlog. I'm going to do one more vlog for the end of the month, which might, I don't know if that's going to, that probably will appear right at the end of the month, because it'll be nice, because we're going camping. I'm playing at a festival at the end of the month. It'd be nice if I can do something by my tent. If it's going to rain, then we might just go down there the day that we play, which would be a bit of a shame because it's a 4-hour drive, so it's a long drive to do just to play a set and then come back. So I'd really prefer to camp, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be nice next week. So yeah, one more vlog to go. Please comment below if you have read The Lighthouse by Edgar Allan Poe, or you have any opinions about Ramsey Campbell or anything else in this vlog, because this is the last bit of the vlog. So stay curious, everybody. Picture of what it's like to